So, what happened with Balozi? Like, I know because it didn't just die like right now, but
Mm,
it went through its various ups and downs
yes.
in existence.
Balozi actually, I think, managed to go through a 12th birthday, which was pretty okay. I mean, it did, for most businesses, that would continue. But I think the loss of the big deal
Mm-hmm.
did something to me personally as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I think I lost confidence in
Okay.
terms of running a big business.
Okay.
At that point in time, actually, I thought maybe I should have a board
Mm-hmm.
on board, that people who can help me manage something bigger than myself.
Yeah.
Um, and unfortunately, I think uh, I can't blame him. My dad was our chairman.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was protecting me from people who can come and take advantage of your sweat.
Right.
So he said, no, don't get people from outside yet. Let's grow it a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when this deal fell,
Okay.
fell through.
Okay.
So I think if I had more people who could cast vision wider,
Mm-hmm.
I think Balozi would have continued very
Okay.
strongly.
Mm-hmm.
But even at that time, now our chairman was also going through his own issues where he was working and that kind of thing. So it became it's just fate.
Yeah.
As fate would have it.
Yeah.
Balozi started going down, and I realized, you know what, it's better to let me play to my strengths. Now, I did not know what my strengths are. So in 2014, beginning of 2015, 2015, my wife and I prayed and said, you know, I've got such a huge social capital.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people of influence know me
Yeah.
and like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And trust or that I would do something for their benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, we need someone who's going to be able to come into my life and help me to turn that social capital
Yeah.
into commercial value.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of, actually it was in March of 2015, Clive Hines, I met him earlier,
Yeah.
told me, oh, there's a young man I think you need to meet. He reads a lot and he's very clever.
Uh-huh.
And I want to do something with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can come in and help with the production. So we wanted to do product placement in films and in series.
Right.
And Clive, if you know Clive was the managing director of McCann Erickson when it was McCann Erickson.
Back in the day, yes, when ad agencies.
McCann Erickson was an advertising agency.
Yes.
And he was a managing.
For those of
For those who have no idea,
Yeah.
this is before Scanad.
Yes, yes.
Long before Scanad.
Yeah.
And so he knew about product placement and the marketing, how to do that marketing business. So he wanted me to be the product producer, of course, because that's my relationship with him.
Yeah.
And this young man was going to help actually do the actual filming because he was very good in film work.
Okay.
So we had a meeting. I remember it was at Adams Arcade at Java.
Yeah.
And this young man rocks up with his short locks.
Uh-huh.
And he's skinny guy. I'm like, who's this kid? And he says, yeah. So this is the guy I wanted you to meet. I said, okay, hi, what's your name? Eugene Bogo. I said, oh, okay, Eugene. Pleasure to meet you. And he said, by the way, this is Eugene talking. I tried to talk to you 2 years ago. I was doing a line. I was doing what do you call it? I was doing a column in the Nation about entertainment, and I wanted to interview about Riverwood. And I said, oh, so what happened? Yeah, I think you got busy. He said, I remember. And I could actually very truthfully remember that day. I made an appointment. It was going to be at Hurlingham, and he was waiting for me. And then something came up at the office, and I couldn't go.
Okay.
So I called him and told him, imagine I can't make it. Can we make it another time? And I said, okay, we'll do it now. He was very understanding.
Yeah.
Little did I know that he had actually walked from town to Hurlingham.
Yeah, because being a reporter is rough.
It's
I will tell you, it's a
so
very
he had to walk
job.
back without. He told me that later. I felt so guilty, so I bought him a lot of coffees.
But okay, so is this the answer? He was the answer to your prayer.
No,
Wow.
I'm getting there.
Okay,
I'm
all right,
getting
sorry.
there. So this guy, after the meeting, he says, by the way, I'd like to talk to you again. So Clive left, and he said, now I'm doing a new show. That time he was doing Young Rich on K24.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm doing a new show, and I think you'd be exact host for this. Now, Mwaniki being Mwaniki, I said, how much of my time is it going to take? Are you sure? Wasting my time, young man.
Yeah.
He said, no, I mean, let's give it a shot. So we're going to shoot, and then we're going to see what happens. Actually, I think I'm mixing my no, I'm correct. So I was mixing my dates. But anyway, so we did the pilot in April.
Mm-hmm.
And it was getting two men to compete in the kitchen.
Yes.
And I was the host.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep them talking and to get the chef to say something. And
yeah.
So we did our pilot. And he went and just started trying to sell it and, going around. And it took until November
mm-hmm.
for K24 to finally say, oh, okay, I think we can take it.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. So from there, it took another 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
In April is when now we actually went on air with Get in the Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So Get in the Kitchen 2016 was born on K24.
Okay.
And Mwaniki was there. Now, at that point in time is when I realized this guy's got quite some idea,
Yeah,
he's sharp, eh?
Yeah.
And he's got drive and everything.
Yeah.
So we started spending a lot of time with him. In fact, he became a member of our family. We'd have dinners together.
Yeah.
He knew our children. He knew, we became family. In fact, my wife said, you're my firstborn son. So we kind of adopted him like our firstborn son. And he had such an interesting story because he's a rags to riches sort of story. You should get him sometime.
Yes, I think I will.
He's got an incredible story.
Yeah.
But he's disciplined. He's got drive. He's focused.
Yeah.
And I asked my friend, maybe this guy has the gap, has the missing link that I did not have.
Yeah.
I had lost my confidence, and I was not going to go through pushing at the business again.
Yeah.
I was done with that. And he had shown me that I had another gift, which was standing in front of people and just making them really happy.
Right.
So I was saying, so he can do the hard work of pushing the business, and I can do the soft work of opening doors. And that's where our symbiotic relationship started. And that's exactly what I started doing. I started opening doors for the company, and we agreed. So I closed down Balozi and said, let's invest in this, and we shall be together and make this thing happen. And that's exactly what happened. We started doing new shows. I started talking to big executives in broadcast places. We got onto NTV, and then it just started growing and becoming something bigger than we had imagined it would be. And so Eugene was the answer to my prayer, that someone would come in and use my social capital to move us to the next level. And so even when we started getting a little bigger now, this is in just before COVID, 2019, I told him, Eugene, we need to start thinking about getting a board in place because they will help us to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And my goodness, it's amazing. Our board, really, we got a board chaired by Sam Denya. And those guys make us think about things we would never have imagined.
Yeah.
And the kind of growth you're seeing at DNR, we were Young Rich, then we changed to DNR TV. Now we're DNR Studios because we're actually growing. We want to have a whole group. It's going to be a group of companies doing all sorts of different things, including merchandising and stuff. Right. So that foundation of being able to open the right doors and getting the right people to come and support what we're doing is going to take this company to the next level. And for me, that's my rebirth.
Yes. Which is, excellent, because the thing that I'm taking away from this is, number one, build that social capital because it will be worth, your money,
It's worth something.
And then also don't be afraid of a partnership with someone who complements your skills.
That's very, very, now that excellent. For me is a life lesson.
Yeah.
If I had continued trying to build Balozi by myself again, it would have happened again. Now something would have happened in the future. And for instance, COVID. If I was doing Balozi alone and COVID hit, I think I would have, it'd have been crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Let me tell you a story. I didn't know how much losing Balozi had affected me.
Okay.
Until in 2019, we were at church and the pastor was talking about loss.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, okay. Yeah, loss. At that point, I had not even lost my dad yet. So I had not suffered loss.
Yeah.
Really. I was fine. also I thought. So she talked about loss, and then said, okay, so we'd like to now pray, and we'd like to talk about, this is Pastor Judy, by the way. I want to talk about loss of a loved one. Okay, that's fine. Loss of work or job. Yeah, okay. Loss of business.
Then what happened?
I couldn't control it.
Oh, wow.
I started sobbing like a baby.
Right.
I thought, what? My wife was trying to gather me up.
Yeah.
What's wrong with this guy? It was really, really interesting. I still tear.
Yeah.
It was really effective. I felt bad. I mean, I didn't know it affected me that much.
Yeah.
That I had to let go of it. Hey, loss of a business. It's not a small thing.
I know, because you have your self-esteem, your ego all tied up in it.
See, what your business is as an entrepreneur, it's you. It's a part of you. It's like your child.
Yeah.
It has your DNA. It has your blood. It's like it's like a human being that you have brought forth. It's something of. It's actually you. It's an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
So you lose that. It's tough.
Okay.
Thank God for Jesus. Hallelujah.
Faith is an important
I survived. Yeah,
part of
faith does get you through.
Yeah.
It helps you to stand up and see the next day. You may have the down, and you will go through the emotions, but you can be able to stand up the following day.
Tell us about the term employment chapered your character development, because you weren't always self-employed, right?
No, I had my first job in 1991. Where were you?
But don't ask.
So in 1991, we graduated from Daystar. Everybody knew where they were going except me and two other guys, I think it was. But before the month was over, my father called a friend who called a friend.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in front of Martin Forster, managing director of CMC Motors Group Limited.
Right.
Excuse me. Oh, actually, no, I forget. That was actually my second job. My first job, I landed through the same guy, my dad's friend, at a company called Nairobi Motor Corporation. But we were there only for 6 months.
Okay, explain, because I know there's like a juicy story here.
So this Nairobi Motor Corporation was run by a guy called, he's a good friend. I can't mention his name. I might get sued.
Yes, we don't want that.
So he was running it, and what happened was they ran out of capital to buy stock. So our clients were buying, we were selling trucks, pickup trucks, Isuzu pickup trucks, Isuzu lorries, Isuzu what they call canters, yes. That's what we were selling. And I was the sales manager. Young sales manager, fresh out of university.
Right.
Yeah, I should know his stuff. It was fun. I had a team, some crazy guys. One of them he used to love his drink. He'd come to work drunk. But he used to sell. He was a craziest salesman.
That's what counts.
It was so much fun. And here I was a young guy managing these older guys, and one like, who's this young guy? Anyway, it was fun. Do targets. And I learned a lot: prospecting, follow up, delivery, pre-production, pre-delivery checkups on the cars. So you have to check the car before you deliver it. I learned a lot of stuff. It was good. I really enjoyed that time. So we were there for about 8 months. The problem now with that 8-month period is, as I said, I got him at the tail end of that problem of not having enough capital to buy the stock. Now, we did the usual thing, the usual Kenyan thing that we do. We have a lot of money. We think this money, I can use it. It'll come back.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are buying ourselves nice houses in Runda.
I see.
We are buying shambas in Kajiado.
Yeah. We're buying a big car because people need to know we have money.
We have arrived. Tumefika. So unfortunately, that had a negative impact on the business. And of course, I think one of his partners also played him a number. So he was the boss was in a difficult position, and we were in a bit difficult position as a company. So I realized this, and I told my dad, can you call a favor again?
Yeah.
So call a favor, and then that's when I sat in front of Martin Forster. And I became the first direct sales imports manager, direct imports manager for sales. Now, this was a really critical part of my journey because direct imports in those days, this is in the 90s, that was 92. In those days, you couldn't import a new car. All that was happening was that they were fixing cars, they were assembling cars
them locally
at AVA, which is Associated Vehicle Assemblers, at KVM, which is Kenya Vehicle Manufacturers, and the last one was, there were three, KVA.
It's okay, don't worry. It was a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. So there are only three of them. And that you'd get Peugeots, you'd get Toyotas, you'd get Isuzus, and those kind of cars. And a lot of Japanese cars. Actually, there was no cars from England and from Europe. So if you wanted a Mercedes or you wanted a top-end Pajero, for instance, or Range Rover, whatever it is, you had to get foreign exchange approved by central bank to import that car.
Hey, those more years.
So only ambassadors and people in embassies, some government officials like lecturers were allowed. And judges and those kind of people, magistrates and those kind of level of people, cabinet secretaries and ministers and assistant ministers and MPs. There was a lot of people who were able to do that.
Unrelated, but I think this is why we still to this day have the perception that German cars are superior to it's because of this. Whereas, let me tell you guys something, in other countries, Germans are actually taxis. Go to Berlin and see what happens to Mercedes.
The Mercedes Benz.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Nothing against Merc. I'm a Formula One fan from Merc. So, that's true. That's absolutely correct. So the big cars were the shiny, the Volvos and the Range Rovers and the Mercedeses, So those the people who were buying these cars were people of influence. And who was the direct sales manager?
You were.
I was.
Wait, this is where you started building that social capital.
Continuing to build on it because I told you I grew up in leafy suburbs. So I was meeting these people already through my dad. But now that they were meeting with, Mageria's son, sort of thing. So now I got a personal relationship with them. So it was really good. I think that for me, I made friends with some really interesting people who to this day are still my mentors, and some have gone already, but a lot of them are still the ones who are around are still my mentors, and who I can go to them and cry on their shoulders or learn from them. So that was very, very instructive to my future growth, and very pivotal to me being able to have very good social capital. People like Niva Mwendo, I met her and we became friends. Ngala, Katana Ngala.
Is it just Kamba politicians?
No, Ngala is not Kata. Ngala is not Kamba. He's from Coast. Achengo Neko's son. We had a lot of... and made a lot of good friends. And people I can talk to even to this day. And of course, none other than him, the MO1 himself.
Oh, where did you become pals?
Because he used to import his, remember his combis?
Yes.
Remember those combis? I'm the one who used to bring those cars in. And in fact, his Charles was his engineer. We had to make sure that he goes to Germany, to the factory, to inspect the vehicles before they're shipped. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Because this is for the head of state. You cannot just start bringing a car. And then, so we would organize for him. You'd take a factory tour, you'd have a look at the vehicles, and then they would come. So I did that twice for him, the two combis, which is a lot of. He always bought two. He never bought one. Always two.
Because you had to have a decoy.
One blue one brown one.
Oh.
Always. One blue one gold one. So he always bought two.
Okay. That's interesting.
Even when they bought the Range Rovers, they bought two. Don't buy one.
Okay.
Very interesting.
One day we will omoka to that level.
There.
So you're doing really, really well, but then you had another stint at a business where...
No. I was let me tell you about that, about being given business development, character development. So I was working there. I worked for 8 years, and I felt like I was plateauing. I was married. They took care of school fees. house allowance,
Mm-hmm.
insurance, medical insurance, the works.
Yeah.
So I felt, I've plateaued, man. I need to start growing.
Mm-hmm.
So at that particular point in time, Marshall's Honda were growing
Right.
and were looking for guys who could help grow.
Mm-hmm.
They were growing. They wanted a dream team.
Right.
So because I was vocal, I had been interviewed on the Auto News. I was, I'm a vocal guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was visible.
Yeah.
They poached me and gave me 4 times the salary.
Hey.
Nobody told me I would get 4 times the salary for only 4 months.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So what happened was Marshall's was owned by a certain big Indian,
Mm-hmm.
Kenyan Indian mogul. I would say his name again. I don't think he gets fired.
Yeah.
And he fell out with Moi.
As it goes
As
in
it
those
goes.
days.
So they went for his businesses. So one morning we're told, guys, Dream Team, no more.
Eh?
Yeah, we were told by, I have to say this name because he just was an incredible character. Peter Ragg.
Okay.
Peter Ragg called us into his office and told us, there's no longer a dream team. Go home.
I love the accent. You're very good with that. Uh-huh.
So Peter Ragg fired us all. I was with Tim Moy. Tim Moy is still to this day a very good friend. He was head of HR. He's one who headhunted me.
Okay.
So we went home. And that is when I started Balozi.
Okay. All right.
That's when I started Balozi with my dad. And then immediately after that, I got... So, by the way, that one didn't even hit me so hard. I felt, oh my God. But I was like, really? You mean there is no, what shall I call it, job security? Because, those days, you once in a job, you stay.
Yes.
I mean, I did 8 years at CMC.
Yeah.
I was ready to do another 8 years here. So I thought, hey, this is very interesting. We were expecting our second born at the time.
Oh, wow.
So for us, it was, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Somehow, I think I was young and foolish. I was like, tutakula too. And our parents were around. So, and so they helped. They helped quite a bit, to help us out. Even helping us paying rent and whatever it was. Okay. Though I had some savings because of the kind of money. And they gave us a small handshake. So we started Balozi. So this gentleman who also owns a big car company.
Yeah.
Personally,
rich people.
Not a company, not that other people with him. He owns it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he used to sell a lot of cars to government. He wanted another dream team, quote unquote. And they headhunted me. They looked for me. And it would come. So I joined them it was in March of 20, I can't even remember what year it was, but Moi was still in power, so that's quite a while back.
Yeah.
And for 1 year, I helped push sales. We're doing very well. I had a team. We were not doing as well because that was now coming towards the tail end of Moi's rule. And if you do your history, the economy was actually in a very tough place.
It was a shambles.
In a very hard place. So even government was not able to pay for new cars and things like that. So it was very difficult. So at the end of that, now this is the first time I got fired proper.
Okay.
I was told, do not come back to work. The one with Peter Ragg was understandable because all of us were being retrenched.
Yeah.
This one was, you, Mwaniki, don't come back.
But why you? What had you done? Did you steal a moti?
Apparently, I didn't know this. Every year in December, he would do an analysis and say, do I want to continue with this person or don't I want to continue with this person?
Hey, that's very personal.
It is, but he owns it. It's his company.
I guess so.
He can do exactly what he wants. So I was not the first, and I was not the last.
Yeah.
Every Christmas. So you think you're going home for Christmas, you're told, don't come back in January.
Ay, Jay. Okay.
Thankfully, I had a very crafty sales guy and the lady in charge of stores. No. She was in charge of warehouse, of workshop. She told me, because we know and we trust you, and I know you've got your plan for Christmas. Take the car, because it was a company car.
Yeah.
Bring it back in January. So I took the car for holiday for a whole 7 days, and I knew I didn't have a job, but I was in the company car. Well, someone will get in trouble for that, but not such a long time ago. It was 21 or something like that. So yeah. So that was really interesting. I actually thought, how will I continue? But God would have it. We just moved to a house next to where my kids were going to school.
Yeah.
So they walked to school.
Yeah.
And I knew I was good at what I do. So on my wife's the kitchen table, I started planning my next moves. And believe it or not, Bid and Bogua.
Yes.
He walked into my house the following week, I think it was. I was sitting there. I was all dressed up ready. I knew I was dressed up for work.
Yeah.
And I used to dress sharp with tie and everything.
Yes.
I know how to dress up.
Okay. I know this.
Well, not today, I'm casual. And Biden walks in and says, come, I need to give you some work. Can you imagine? And I went and organized a marathon for some NGO that he was associated with.
Okay.
Just out of the blue. And he just continued from there. And that's when now Balozi was reborn again now.
Okay.
And we started doing events now properly.
Hey, talk about synchronicity.
Exactly. And somewhere in between there, I can't remember where. Oh, yes, it was between leaving CMC and joining this other company that had an owner of his own cars. In between there, I did a whole year stint at Capital FM as a presenter.
Right. Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Fun times.
And also, I did another stint immediately after that. Oh my goodness me, I've done stints. After I left, I was going to say the name, that car company. When I was, after being fired, I did actually was the sales and marketing manager at, what are they called? Family Media?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Family Media.
Yeah.
And
The
we
Christian
did. Do
TV.
you remember the membership where you get a membership card? And what we would do was barter advertising for airtime. So people would not advertise.
Right.
It was a brilliant idea. I mean, we had a team, but I can tell you that it was a brainchild of what's his name, Slingerland. He said, since people cannot afford to advertise, let's give them free advertising. Then anybody who takes on a membership card, because we had viewers, so we ask our viewers, please get a membership card.
Yeah.
If you have a family membership card, at these places that are advertising on our station, you get a discount.
Wow.
So for the person, so everyone wins. The person who's advertising gets people to see their advert,
Right.
and the people come to their place and use their services. The people who go there get a discount because of having a membership card, and then we get the money, we get the difference in the discount. We get the money.
Right.
So it was very, very clever.
Okay.
Very, very, very clever way of doing
That sounds
things.
cool.
Yeah.
But I have a question though. When
And I got fired from that one as well.
okay, we'll get there. So back to this other car business, because like you've said, if you're being fired as a team, then that's just it's the economy, it's the business, whatever it is. But when someone looks at you specifically and says, I do not want you, and then the manner in which they fire you as well is brutal, it's cold, at least to
He
me.
didn't even tell me himself.
Oh no.
I just got a letter.
Ay. Okay. And then it's abrupt, so you're not ready for it. So even if you're ready financially, it must have done something for you, for the way that you felt about yourself.
Yes. I had to do what we call self-care.
Yeah.
Where you realize, Mwaniki, it's not about you. Do you know, I actually learned out of these situations that came up like that, and even particularly the other one from Family Media, I learned to love myself.
Okay.
And to coach myself against getting into depression.
Okay.
You have to start speaking to yourself.
Okay.
You have to encourage yourself. You have to lift yourself up.
Yeah.
And you say, you know what, Mwaniki, you're a really good person, eh? It's just that life is throwing you a curveball. So it's not about what's coming at you. It's about how you handle it. Someone said it's like in rugby. If you go into a tackle, you will feel the pain.
Yeah.
But if you sidestep the tackle, you live to fight again.
Yeah.
So basically, you need to learn to sidestep the tackle. I played club rugby, and I realized that it's better to avoid the tackle than to get
Yes. Yes.
because it can be really painful, getting hit. So so sidestep it. Self-care is very important.
Right.
You must be able to speak to yourself. It doesn't matter, by the way, how many good voices and encouragement you get from outside. If you don't allow that therapy to get into your heart and make you feel better about yourself,
then nothing.
It just goes down. You have to talk to yourself.
Okay.
You have to encourage. And people must take that responsibility. You must take the responsibility for your own care.
Okay.
And for your own heart and for your own feelings.
Yeah.
Because you can go to a therapist, but if they're telling you nice things and you're refusing to take those nice things into your heart,
then
you will have the same eventuality.
Yeah.
You will get into depression. You will get into a situation that is not what you want out of it. Yeah. It's not ideal. So I learned that early, and learning to trust the process. Because at the end of the day, when we're told in the Bible, God has a good plan for you, plan to prosper you, to give you a future and a hope.
Yeah.
If you trust that, then you will know that even the downs come with ups.
Okay. Yeah.
It's never a permanent situation.
Yeah.
That for me, the most the time that was reconfirmed to me was when Slingerland fired me. That was very interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were doing well.
Yeah.
We were booming. We had Aquafresh, we had Colgate, we had not Colgate, we had Aquafresh. Yeah, we had Colgate, we had Cadbury's, we had the whole Nestle guys.
Yeah.
We were really doing very well.
Yeah.
But then this thing called, I don't know if you ever remember a time when there was power
Load
rationing.
shedding. Yes.
Power
yes.
rationing.
Yes. Okay, we called it power rationing in Kenya. Yes.
What is it called elsewhere?
Load shedding.
Load shedding. Yes, they call it load shedding there, but as we're calling it power rationing. So all the smaller stations, apart from the big ones, KTN, Nation, and Citizen, were not having too much, NTV, were not having too much of a problem in terms of viewership.
Yeah.
But the smaller stations like Family TV, we were getting hit. We were not getting half the people watching us. We're getting like a third of the people watching us, or even a quarter of the people watching.
Yeah.
So many of these advertisers said, let's hold back a bit.
Okay.
And that's when he said, okay, I can't afford you, Mwaniki.
Okay.
Please go home.
Right.
And that was, I'll never forget, the Euros were being played in France that year. Was it France? Okay. But they were being played in Europe. This is football, the football Europe Champions League. No, not Champions League, the countries, Euros. They call the Euros. And the Netherlands had just been beaten the night before by Italy.
Is this your team?
No, it was his team.
Okay.
So I told him, are you firing me because the Dutch were beaten last night?
Yeah. Where? You walked out in a blaze of glory.
No. But this time it had happened before, but I really had to do a lot of reflection.
Yeah.
And just say, it's not you, man. It's you can do. And the Phoenix has risen, and we're doing really, really well right now. But a lot more humbled, a lot more balanced in outlook on life, and realizing that every experience is a valuable experience.
Yes.
So just enjoy it and learn from it, grow from it. Yeah.
Now, you got married very young.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
The love of my life.
Yes. And you have never been with anyone else? Like, she's stood by you through all of these?
She stood by me right through.
Yes.
Come rain or shine.
Yes.
Yeah. Though there was one time when we were broke and she told me, Mwaniki, I'm thinking about leaving you.
What?
We were so that broke.
Yeah. No, I know that sounds like, that's probably a joke, what she said. But then the thing is, I don't think I've met a single entrepreneur whose marriage hasn't seen things because of, the journey. Very often when you have a dream, you're starting balozi, and then it doesn't look like things are cooking fast enough. Has this ever happened with you and your wife, and how do you navigate a situation like that?
Actually, we even tried to work together, and that was, oh my goodness, that was a disaster. I don't know what it is about the people you care, the people who are close to you. It just, I don't know, I think you take them for granted.
Yeah.
You don't treat them with the respect that you treat somebody who's. The things that that I said and did to my wife, okay, in terms of business, that I look back and I'm very ashamed of.
Okay.
I mean, it was, I'm like, who was that guy? I don't know that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've asked her many times to forgive me. And she has.
Okay.
Thank God, she's such a gracious woman.
She's a beautiful woman, sounds like.
Yeah, but it does take a big strain. And trying to work, some people work together very well with their spouses.
Yeah.
But in our instant, I think, I don't know whether I was immature, because it happened very early on when I was building Balozi, right at the beginning. Actually, we were not even building Balozi. We were building the Sunflower Kids Club, which was an aspect of Balozi.
Okay.
The Sunflower Kids Club is a performing arts club where kids come and learn to hone their talents in music, creative, performing arts, acrobatics, drama, singing.
Wow.
Yeah, we actually have 3 albums to our name right now.
Oh, wow.
You remember the Singing Sunflowers on TV?
Yes.
That's us.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, wait, what was she doing? What were your roles?
She was taking care of the kids part. She was now running, making sure that the kids club is running and trying to make it break even.
Okay.
So this MD is making a lot of noise. Why aren't you breaking even? So he said, we're not going to take this to the house. Because now you see the argument will continue to the house.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was immature, man.
Okay.
But anyway, young and foolish.
Right.
So we got over that and we said, we'll never work together. You do your thing, I do my thing. Let's be happy where we are at. Come home, happy people.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But also, I suppose when you're going through your ups and downs, so for example, that time that you spent a week and a half in bed, right? You have a spouse who expects something from you emotionally, right? So is there a way for you to navigate a situation like that and still have your spouse feel supported, because they feel your distress, they feel for you, they probably see a period of financial dryness coming. They also need someone to hold them up, right? So what's your suggestion for how do you deal with that?
Very philosophical, psychological question there. At that point when you're in the hole, you're not of use to anybody, even yourself. You're not of use to anybody. So you, at that point, you need someone to be strong for you. Yeah. And she was there, strong for me. Then when you get up on your feet, then you can give that emotional support and whatever it is. But at that point in time, you're not of use to anybody. You're quite, to put it bluntly, you're useless. You need someone to help you. Yeah, get up. Yeah. You remember Neo? He said even a hero needs a hero sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. Particularly for men, we're always having to be strong. We have to be the guys, making things happen. But there are times when you just are not strong. You're down, you're broken, you're beaten, you're in the gutter. Yeah. So you need someone to help you out. And I think that's why it's important to have somebody like that in your life. Someone who you can trust to be strong for you when you're weak. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so I'm all for marriage, man, and having that partner and someone you do life with, because truth be told, we get lonely, we get beaten, and we get broken, and you need someone to be there to walk with you. Yeah.
Okay, so final question, and no need to go into details. I just want to know, have you ever had the opportunity to be there for her when she's going through a weak moment?
Oh, yes, I have been there for her. She also had a problem where, excuse me, she didn't have work. Yeah. And things were really difficult. And the things were difficult. Actually, that is not even the hard part. That one we were able to go through easily. Yeah. There was a time she had a very bad boss. Okay. And even going to work, you could see she would turn darker. Yeah. Because the blood is pumping. Yeah. There's something bad looming over. And I actually threatened to go and meet this boss and talk. She refused completely. Of course. So what it was at home, taking care of things. So when she comes home, it's time to relax, giving her the massage, foot massages and the neck rubs. And that would help. Yeah. But more importantly, looking for another place. So I actually looked for another place for her to work at. And we were able to transition her from that difficult place to a better place. Yeah. Later on. Okay. But she had to go through it and went through a very, very tough, it was really difficult. Yeah. Yeah. and it's interesting. It's happened to her twice. The second time she was stronger, but the first time was, and we were younger. We were very young that time. I'm like, how can someone be so bad? Why are you creating such a bad atmosphere at the workplace? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You're spending most of your day at the workplace. It should be a happy place. It should be a place where you're growing, a place where you're challenging one another, where you're, and that is a challenge to entrepreneurs and to other people who are running businesses. Make your place of work somewhere where your employees want to come to.
Amen
because those
to
are your
that.
colleagues. Those are people who are making the dream for you, with you. They must be happy in a place like that.
Yes.
And we have, just give an example, because this might be helpful. At our office, right now at our company, Eugene takes care of all the business.
Okay.
I take care of the soul of the company. I am making sure that our ethos is lived out among the people. When people want to cry, they come to me. When they have a problem, that's what I do. I go around departments and look, and also business development, looking into the future. What are we going to do in the future? What else do we need to do? Which other direction do we need to go? Eugene does that a lot, but we bounce off each other a lot, and I'm constantly thinking about it while he's taking care of the business of growing the company. So that kind of partnership really helps, and the spirit of the company, the ethos, the soul of the company is very important.
Exactly.
It's very, very important.
I agree with you. Well, you've certainly been through a lot, it's impressive how resilient you have become through it, because I don't think it gets easier. It's just that you develop the tools.
Exactly.
Eugene
always says, you get broader shoulders.
Yes.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Amen to that. Yeah. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with Mwaniki, and it's been such an enjoyable story to hear. I hope you have enjoyed it as well. If you would like to get in touch, I suppose if we want mentorship, we want to do business with your company, we can reach you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm on IG, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter. Yeah, it's easy to find me. Facebook.
Right. Yes.
Guys are still on Facebook.
Anyway, never mind. So please feel free to use those social media handles that you've been seeing all through this interview, and let's see each other next week for another one just like this one.